Hello everyone, it's Dustin Nolf with Keller Williams Realties, the Dustin Nolf team, and the Full House LLC Pittsburgh Property Management. We're going to talk today about money, about wealth building, and what we're going to talk about is investing money and how the rich get rich and stay rich and get richer by doing it, and how you can change the trajectory of your life and your kids' life and your grandkids' life by learning these techniques and implementing them sooner than later. So we talked about budgeting in previous videos, and that's kind of where we're going to start off. So we're going to start off with the basics. If you're, let's say, you got a job, you're working for the man, you're working for a corporation, whatever, and you're saving money, for retirement, you're just saving money, you got money coming in. What your budget should look like, we're going to just assume that you're pulling in, let's say you're pulling in $5,000 a month. So you got a salary of 60 grand a year. If you're pulling in 5 grand a month, there's probably, I would say, at least, we're going to say 25%. There's probably already that much going out to taxes before you even get it. So you're going to be netting about $37.50 a month. So that's what your actual income is, not this, okay? Now, you might say, well, I'm going to get that back in taxes at the end of the year. I'm going to get a reimbursement at the end of the year from the government. Well, that's great. If you get that, then that's extra. We're going to call that bonus money. But don't rely on that. You do want to make sure, if you're an employee, I always like to make sure that I was paying more into the government, so I was getting more back at the end of the year, because that was kind of like free savings for me. It was money I never had, so I never thought about it, and then I got it back, and it just felt like I was getting a bonus check. So this is what you got being deposited into your account monthly. What you want to look at then is what are your expenses, and I always kind of go on halves. Like, you, in my opinion, you don't want to be spending more than half of that on like your basic fundamental needs, right? So when we're talking about fundamental needs, it's food, shelter, and clothing. So you would want to keep around $18.75 for, we're going to say, fundamental needs. So you're going to have $18.75 left, and then you're going to have your discretionary funding or discretionary spending down here. So like, if you want to go out to eat, take the family out to eat, you're going to go out partying, you're going to have a birthday party for somebody, you're going to buy presents, you're going to buy whatever. So this is your discretionary spending right here. And then the same thing here, like, let's say you're spending half of that, $937.50. So you're left with $937.50 here. That's a good budget right there. So if you're doing that, you're going to have $937.50 per month that you have left that you should be taking and putting into a savings account. That doesn't mean that you get to go out and buy something stupid with it. Put it in a savings account and save it to invest. The only time you're going to save money is to invest money. You need to have a nice little nest egg for emergencies, which is going to be about 6 months of your needed income. So 6 months of this. Once you have that saved, just let it sit there in a savings account, or you can put it in a money market account or something that's going to earn better interest than a savings account. And then this gets put in another savings account, a different savings account that you're going to use then to invest at the end of the year, or if you come across a good deal at any point during the year, right? So if you got $937.50 a month that you're saving, at the end of the year you're going to have $11,250. Now if you're not able to do this, then there's something wrong, right? If you're not able to do this, then you're spending more money and you need to figure out where it's going wrong. And if you need to learn how to do that, visit the links below this video and learn how to do a budget, because you need to learn how to do it. You need to make sure you're making money, you're profiting, you're saving money at the end of the year, you're not spending it. So at the end of the year you're going to have this. So the whole idea is you don't just let that sit there, you need to invest it and you need to create more income off of it. So one of the things that I do, I sell real estate, I also buy real estate, I invest in real estate, and I manage real estate. I think real estate is one of the best investments you can make. And the simple reason why is because real estate is one of the few places where you can make a 30 to 40% return annually on your money. All right? And that may sound crazy, and people talk about buying at an 8% cap rate or a 6% cap rate or whatever. A basic 8% cap rate is going to get you better than a 30% return if you use bank money to purchase that property. And we'll go into that in more detail at another time, but just know that you can get a 30 to 40% return in real estate. So if you look at that, if you were to put this money, if you put that money into real estate, we're going to say you use this as a down payment, and you're putting 25%, you're doing 20% down plus 5% in closing costs. That's 25%. So if we take this number and divide it by 0.25, that means that you could buy $45,000 worth of real estate. And you might say, well, you know, in your area, there's no way in hell you're finding a deal for 45 grand. That might be the case, and if so, then you just keep saving this. You just keep saving and building it up until you have enough money to buy some real estate in your neighborhood or around near you. You know, I know even in Pittsburgh now, Pittsburgh is one of the most affordable places to live in the country. We're starting to get to the point where that's hard to find. You can still find it here, but it's difficult to find. For the sake of this process, we're going to say that we can find a house for 45 grand. So we're going to buy one single family home for $45,000. We're going to put 20% down and pay 5% in closing costs. So we're actually only going to finance, $33,750. All right, so we're financing $33,750. The bank's going to fund that portion. We're going to fund this portion. So in Pittsburgh, you can buy a deal like this and rent it out for $850 to $900 a month. If you're getting a deal like that and you're renting it out for $800 a month, you're going to have a cash flow after all expenses. You're going to have a cash flow of between $50 a month to $100 a month. So that's cash flow coming in off of it. You're also going to be paying down the mortgage, and you're going to also, the property is going to be appreciating in value too. So you're going to have three ways that you're earning money off of it. What I like to do with my properties is I pay myself $25 per month per unit, so long as I'm cash flowing like this. If I'm cash flowing like this, then every unit I'm paying myself $25 a month, and that comes into my bank account just like income. So if you were originally starting with that $5,000 number, and you had taxes, and then you were putting $37.50 in your bank account every month, well, you just bought a unit, so now you can add $25 to that. And that might not seem like a whole lot, but if you look at compounding interest over time, if you do that every year for 10 years, well, that gets you up to an extra $250 a month, which is still doesn't seem like a whole lot. But now you own 10 properties that are cash flowing and they're earning 30 to 40% return over time. That's awesome. So now you're working with 3775, which is a better starting point. If you keep the rest of that budget the same, then you got an extra $250, $300 a year that you can invest in real estate with. So that's the whole idea. So you take the leftover money, you invest it, you create more cash flow for yourself, create more cash flow income stream for yourself, and then you feed it back into the investment machine that's going to spit out more and more cash flow. And that's how you not only keep your money, but you make it multiply. And I guess while I have you, let's take a look real quick. So we're going to pull up, the great thing about the information age in Google here is that we can go and type in compound interest calculator. We can pick one. So let's say we started with 11,500. I can't remember what our exact number was, but I'm going to put that in there. And every year we're going to put another 11,500 in. And we're going to do that for 10 years. And we're going to get a 30% appreciation. And we're going to compound the interest at the end of every compounding period. So that's what your investment ends up becoming over time. So, and if you look at it, you only really initially invested $115,000 over that 10-year span. So you invested $115,000, and that number, if you can't read it, it's $648,661. So if you bought 10 properties for that price, 45 grand, just follow that model, you'll have almost $750,000 in 10 years. And now the great thing about it is that because these properties appreciate, you can pull equity out of them and reinvest that money sooner, right? And you can make it multiply even more. And what I mean when I say that is if you bought that $45,000 property and you only owe like $33,750 on it, if you're renting it for $800 a month and you cleaned it up, it could appraise and be worth $70,000 to $80,000. So let's say it's worth 75 grand right now. A year later, it's worth $75,000. Take it to a bank, and you can refinance it, and they'll pay you 80% LTV. Well, 80% LTV, they'll give you $60,000 for it. Well, you only paid $45,000 for it, so you just made money. You made equity. Okay. So let's say you do a cash out refinance. You pull $60,000 out of it. You only owed $33,750. Well, now you got $26,250 that you pulled out of the equity of that property. Okay. If you add that to your $11,500 that you're going to save this year, now you have $37,750 that you can invest. This is only the end of the second year. So we'll divide that by 0.25. And that means you can buy, now the second year, you can buy a $151,000 property with 20% down. And you can do the same thing with that property. So let's say you buy a $150,000 property. A year later, you've done a little bit of value add to it. You're getting more rent for it, and now it's appraised at $225,000. Well, you can pull equity out of it again, and then do the same thing the next time. So you're able to up the game every year, so long as you stay consistent on it. And then those compound interest numbers start to look pretty freaking ridiculous. And that's how an average Joe can become a millionaire in real estate very quickly in less than 10 years. I've seen guys become multi-millionaires in less than 10 years. Multi-millionaires. 6 million, 7 million, 8 million, 10 million in less than 10 years. From nothing. From absolutely nothing. So I hope you liked what you saw. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, please like and subscribe. Visit my Patreon site below. Subscribe, please, to Patreon. Support us. We're going to be learning a lot of stuff in Patreon. We're going to have Excel spreadsheets and other stuff that we're giving away there as well. Just tools that I've been developing over the last 11 years that you're just going to be able to take and use. So please visit the site, support us. Thanks for watching. Take care.